Hey everyone, today's lab, this is experiment 9. It's going to be going, experiment 10, sorry. It's going to be going over reflection and refraction. So I'll go over some of what we're going to be using today. We have this sheet of polar paper right here that's just going to be able to give us markings and measurements and everything. We have this little curved plastic circle right here. We have this little light box that'll give us a little laser that you'll see. And then we just have a flashlight, some other things to kind of help us see in the dark. So what we'll do in this lab is we're going to take this light box and we're going to shine a light through first the flat side of this circle right here. And we're going to observe where the light comes out of the curved side. That's going to be our refracted angle, and we'll also observe the reflected angle, the light that's bouncing back off of this flat side right here. So I'll turn the lights off in a second. You'll be able to see what that looks like, but basically we're just going to move this light box along at different angles and observe where we see the light in different places. So what that would look like is oh, now this light box isn't working. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, so as you can see, this is at 0 degrees, and our light just shines straight through. We're not even really seeing a reflected angle. We're just seeing this refracted one that goes straight through, comes back out at 0 degrees on the other side of the paper. And as we move along, we'll be able to see that this refracted angle changes. And it's really dim. You can't really see it, probably especially on the phone. There is a reflected angle coming out here, but basically we just record how this refracted angle changes as we move along here. So that's for part 1. You would just be doing that, observing how it comes out of that curved side. So for part 2 of this lab, we're going to be using the same piece of equipment, but now we're going to be looking at the total internal reflection of this block right here. So what we're going to do is we will shine the light through the curved side in this case, and we observe, once again, we have this light coming out the other side, and we move this around the paper, and we see a change. We want to keep it coming out of the center point of this flat side right here, and as we move it along, we'll see that this refracted beam is getting closer and closer and closer to being parallel with this flat side of our surface. And so as we continue to move, we'll eventually hit a part where now that beam has completely disappeared. All we have left is our reflected angle. So this is the angle that total internal reflection occurs at. It's when no refracted light is able to escape from this block anymore. The light comes in and only the reflected beam remains. So part 2 of this lab is just finding out where that occurs, and then you'll use some information from part 1 to find a theoretical value and see how those values match up. So that's the first 2 parts of this lab, and then the only thing that would be getting done for the last part of the experiment is we would now be using this other semicircular block right here, and we would fill this one with water. And so we'd find these exact same measurements, but instead of going through a plastic block, we're going through water as our medium. So that's everything for this one. As always with these experiments, I will be providing you the data, and then you will just be doing the calculations and everything like that. All right, thanks guys.